So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It is a miserable day today. I got a load of stone coming for the neighbor's driveway. It's going to be here in just a couple minutes. And then boy, do I got a story for you. The driveway that I put in, it's held up really well. But what we're going to do here in the next day or two, I need some decent weather. I need to cut in that way over there and stone all that, because they're going to have building materials and a crane and all that needs to sit up there right beside where the house is going to go. But we had a lot of rain yesterday. We just had some right now. It's going to get cold tomorrow. We'll make it work. And you know, it's not going to be a finished product or anything. That'll all happen after the house is built, but we'll figure it out. But they got all the walls poured. Foundation is done, ready to start framing. All right, got our stone delivered. Like I said, it's a mess right now, but it won't be too bad, really. I'm gonna have to cut this down a little bit and ramp up into there and then just stone the heck out of it. I'd walk up in there and show you the foundation, but we'll do that when conditions are a little better. We'll be getting this wood out of here soon too. The next load I get from log truck driver Bill, I'll have him come over and grab that, take it over to the wood yard. So check this out. That load of stone arrived 15 minutes ago. I came over to the house for a few minutes, heading down to the wood yard, and now the sun is out. It's been changing about every half hour or so, but we had a cold front come through and dropped about 10 degrees, but at least the sun's out, so it's kind of a wash. All right, I told you I had a good story for you. Well, here it is. If you watched the last video, you know, we were down at the cabin, myself and a buddy of mine, doing some deer hunting on the opening day in West Virginia, and day one was not very good at all. I mean, we didn't see hardly anything, and that's pretty unusual for down there. It was just a little different for some reason. Well, we decided to stay another day, and that was yesterday. I got home last night, and first thing in the morning, we saw some deer. It just seemed like it was going to be a little bit better than the day before. Well, normally I don't really care if I get a deer, you know, a buck, and I thought, we're all the way down here. It'd be nice to get a buck. So I was ready to put in the work yesterday. So I must have hiked about 10, maybe 12 steps to the second floor of the cabin. And I'm sitting up there, and it's a really good spot, you know. And I'm looking around the cabin. I see some doe out the back. There were two that crossed behind the cabin. And then I saw 5 more come in right towards the cabin from the front. And then things kind of slowed down a little bit. I didn't see much more for about 45 minutes or so. And I had some water and some things that I left in the truck, and I wanted to go get them, but I didn't really want to walk out of the cabin. So I check everything out. I go to each window with my binoculars, making sure there's no deer anywhere close. And I go down the steps, out the front door, and I walk down to my truck. I get what I was after. Couldn't have been 3 minutes. I mean, no, it was 3 minutes probably. I was parked down towards the gate. And I get out of the truck. I close the door real carefully and quietly. And I'm going to walk back up to the cabin. And I look, and 20 feet from the cabin, I see this deer. And its head was down, but I could see its body. And it was a big body. And I'm like, I can't tell what it is. And I didn't have my binoculars with me, but I had my scope. And I looked, and I could just see a little bit of rack with its head down. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm standing right in the middle of the driveway, out in the wide open. And so my initial thought was, get down on the ground so he can't see me. There's a little hump there. And I'm going to like army crawl over to this tree. Well, I do that for about 3 or 4 feet. And I'm like, this isn't the best idea. So I get up on one knee and I look again. And I don't see him. Well, he had gone a little farther away. And I could see as he was walking away from me. It was a pretty decent rack for down there at the cabin. But I'm looking at the back of the deer now. And by now, he's probably 100 yards away, going through those red pines that are so tight. And I wanted to get over to a tree to have a little bit of a rest, but I didn't have that opportunity. I was standing in the driveway. So I pulled up, and he turned finally. And by this point, he's probably 120 yards away. And I found an opening between those red pines about this big, right? And as soon as he stepped into it, that was it. I got a buck. It was a 6, 7, or an 8 point. It did have 8 points at one time, but a couple were broken off. I think it's a fair 7, you know. They're supposed to be an inch long. Out west, they would call it like a 3x4. In the east, we count all the points. Out west, they count like a 4x5 or whatever. I'm not sure why they do. I think I know why. Probably because the people out west can't count that high, so they just split it up. You know what I mean? Instead of saying it's a 9 point, they can say it's a 4x5. I don't know. But anyway, I got a buck yesterday, and I was pretty excited. I was. I still got it, you know. I do. I wasn't sure if I did or not, but made a nice shot and still gets the heart pumping. You know what I mean? You still feel that excitement. And so that was a good thing. Now, our season here in Pennsylvania starts, today's the day before Thanksgiving. It starts on Saturday, which people are still worked up about that. For years, I mean forever, the first day of deer season was always the Monday after Thanksgiving. Then probably, I don't even know now, 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know, they switched it to Saturday to give more people, they say to give more people time to hunt. They don't have to take off work. Saturday and Sunday they can hunt. But what happens is everybody has Thanksgiving, and then guys like to go to camp. You know, it used to be huge in Pennsylvania. I mean, they'd fill rosters, 25 guys in a camp, and it's just different now. You know, it's a dying sport, unfortunately. People will always hunt. They're going to have to control. There's just so many deer, but it's just so different. But when they switched it to Saturday, it kind of messed everything up for the guys that go to camp because, they're spending Thanksgiving with their family, and then they got to pack all their stuff, head to camp on Friday to hurry up and get ready for Saturday morning. Where before, they could go up Saturday morning, have the rest of Saturday, Sunday. Them guys, they would cook. I mean, just all kind of stuff. It was a big deal. It was. And it's just different now. Even around here, when I was young, there was a guy on every hill, in every valley, and there would be shooting from a little bit before daylight almost till noon, non-stop, like every 5 minutes at least. And now it is totally different, which is one of the reasons why we have bigger buck now. The Game Commission says it's because of their antler restriction. It's just a half or a third of as many people are hunting now. So the deer get older. It's not that hard to figure out. You don't have to be a biologist. You know what I mean? If less people are shooting the deer, they're going to get older. And that's what's happening around here. So we have nicer bucks and more of them than we've ever had before, but a lot less people hunt, and it's just not as big a deal, The kids still have off Monday after Thanksgiving, but it is just different. And I'm just going to keep doing my thing, and Levi, he's into it, and it seems as though grandson Ty will be into hunting, so we'll carry on our little tradition here. And whatever everybody else does, well, that's up to them. right, it is much, much nicer in here. Got a nice fire in the wood stove. Melissa, I thought you were getting ready for Thanksgiving.
I am. This is me resting before Thanksgiving.
Getting ready for the big push.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting day, but it's also, today's a day just to rest up and be under a nice, comfy blanket.
Blankie. Who used to call them blankies?
I think all of our kids. I think I did it, and then I called it.
So tell them about that blanket, Melissa.
This is something that we've been researching. We wanted something that was warm and soft. This is 50 by 60. It comes with a leather patch with our logo on it, Outdoors with the Morgans. You can click the link to buy them. They're in our store now. Limited edition. There's just 100. So
yeah, that'll just be for
get them before
this
they're
Christmas. That is a nice blanket is a nice thing to have.
It's soft, but it has the perfect weight to it. Do you know what I mean? It's not too heavy. And some blankets, you know me, I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah, you get like claustrophobic.
I can't breathe. Yeah. And this one, it washes up nice. It's actually just the perfect blanket we've been searching for. So I'm really happy that these are in the store. Yeah, go to outdoorswiththemorgans.com. Or
yeah, I'll put a link in the description, pinned comment as well.
Yeah.
Well, while you rest up by the fire and under your blanket, I'm going to go back to the sawmill.
Oh. Well, Mike, I'll tell you what. I'll get you a blanket.
Oh, one more thing. You want to show them how it ships?
Oh, absolutely.
You had a spare right there.
It's all ready for you to ask that. It comes in this reusable zipper bag, which I love these. You know when you buy a new comforter or new sheets that come in one of these? I don't know if I got it from my mom or my grandma, but I saved these, and I have 100 uses for them. But it's perfect that you can store it where you store your blankets, but it's in a nice plastic sealable bag.
Very nice. How many people we've come in the morning, do you know?
Yeah, about 35 to 40.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why it's important that I rest up.
How many turkeys we got going?
2 turkeys and a ham.
They're going to see this video on Thanksgiving, so do you want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving?
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. I can't wait to watch the parade and the dog show and eat, and a football game and eat, and maybe another rerun of the dog show and eat again.
Dog show, that's a big thing that we watch every day.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
All right, well, we're going to get back to work. Thanks.
Okay.
Man, is it getting cold. The weather has changed probably 4 times just since I started sawing these 2 logs right here, but these are some more 1x10s for the new barn out there for siding, board and batten. These would be the boards. And here are some of the battens. I was going back and forth between 3.5 inch or 3 inch, and I couldn't decide. And I thought, you know what? I'll just split the difference. So these are 3 1/4. I'll see what they look like with the 1x10. Put a few up. If I want them a little narrower or a little wider, I'll pull them down and go with something else. But 3 1/4. We'll see what they look like. But I got to show you the greatest thing ever. I can't believe it took me this long to do this, but I had a guy, he's a firewood customer, real nice guy, and he's a welder, and we talked about this, and he made this for me, and it is perfect. Call it like a slab rack, wood bunk, log bunk, whatever you want to call it, but I can come in with the forks, pick the whole thing up if I want, or come in with the forks right above that rail right there and lift the slabs out of there. I could even I could band them, you know, fill this up, get some metal banding and band them, and maybe try selling them that way. But it's just a much better way to be more organized, because normally they get tossed on the ground right there, and I grab them with the forks or the excavator, and they kind of go all over the place. This will be much better. I can find a spot for these, put some runners on the ground, have these banded up, and just start piling them up, and hopefully find a buyer for them. I think the hardwood slabs will bring more than the white pine, as long as it covers the cost of the banding and the little bit of time it'll take, you know, to do it and to load people out. I would be happy with that. But maybe I'll find someone, maybe there's a market for it. Around here, everybody wants finished product though, most people. I need to paint this. I probably should have done that before I started using it. There was already a little bit of rust on it, but at some point, you know what I might do? I need to find a place that powder coats. That's what I need to do. Maybe, you know, wait till spring, have it sandblasted and powder coated. That would last, because if I paint it, you know, prime it, paint it, I'm moving it around with the skid loader, these slabs, it's gonna get all scratched up and rust anyway. I need to find a place to do some powder coating. I don't know how much that would cost. It's not that big. I'll have to figure that one out. Man, I'm telling you what, it has dropped 20 degrees since this morning. It's cold, and going to be real cold tomorrow and the next day. First day of deer season, I think it's going to be cold as well, but that's okay. I shut the mill off for a little bit, and I heard a bunch of sirens towards town there a little bit ago. And there's like a Facebook page that has like the fire and EMS updates, and they said there was a wreck. Sounded like a pretty bad wreck on a road not far from here. And that road, it's every week. It's just a 2-lane, gets a lot of traffic, and people not paying attention or whatever. But it reminded me, on our trip down to the cabin Sunday afternoon, I'm driving down the interstate, and I'm in the passing lane, and everyone's just going about 65 mile an hour, and I'm behind a car. Yeah, there's a tractor trailer that we're both passing, and I hear something like loud, and I just look, and there's a green Suburban, this older green Suburban. He passed me and cut me off, and I don't know how I didn't hit him. I mean, it was so close to clipping my front fender. He goes out ahead of me. Well, then he can't go anywhere because there's a car right in front of me that he pulled in between. And then, my nose is running. And then, I'm like, he's stuck right now. He wasn't stuck. He goes all the way to the right and passes the tractor trailer on the shoulder, okay? And then just took off. And it was a close one. It was. And it was a bad deal. I was pretty upset. I was able to keep my composure. You know what I mean? Because Mike 20 years ago, I probably would have been driving twice as fast as him to catch up to him. But I didn't do that. And we actually called 911 and reported him. Then they put me on hold and then put me through to the state police, and they didn't seem to be in too big of a hurry. By the time I actually talked to someone, he was probably 10 miles down the road. You know what I mean? So, but I thought he's gonna wreck somebody bad, this guy. I don't know what his problem was, but it was ugly. So pay attention out there. The holidays, there's a lot of people on the roads and a lot of people doing dumb things. And another little public service announcement. Let me turn this off so you can hear me better. This is important. I was listening to a podcast and I didn't even know these things existed. Well, I knew it existed, but I didn't understand what their angle was. As most of you know, gold prices are through the roof. It's like $4,200 an ounce. And for years, you would see these commemorative coins and things like that. And these companies sell these coins, and they are real gold coins, but they're selling them for like 50, even sometimes 100% over spot price of gold. I never bought like a commemorative gold coin. I've bought just real gold, you know what I mean, at spot price or slightly above it, I guess. And but here, this is a big thing. And then these people buy it, you know, they don't really know. Like, I just looked one up, for example, a few minutes ago. I get distracted so easily. I looked one up, and they were like a 1/4 ounce coin. And for what you were paying for it, you were paying about $6,000 an ounce, where you could just go buy a 1 ounce bar of gold for $4,250 right now. And you buy this commemorative coin. And I think people out there think they're just buying real gold, which they are, but they're paying way more than they should be, because it's not, gold is not a collector's item, you know? Like, it's a hedge against inflation, but it's a real commodity. And I didn't know people did that, you know, paid that much more for something just because it's stamped with who knows what on it. So if you want to buy gold, I wouldn't take a financial advice from me, but I will say, don't buy anything commemorative. Just go to, there's several good companies out there that you can buy real gold from. The other thing I never liked was like the paper gold. You know, the reason you buy gold is if everything goes south, you at least have something, you know, where I'd rather have something than a piece of paper saying I have something somewhere else. You know, but I looked at something last night. I was looking at gold prices, and I looked it up. Out of all the gold ever, you know, that has ever been mined, that's out there, all throughout the world, all the gold, at today's prices, it's around 34 or $35 trillion worth of gold is out there. That's worldwide, which is less than what our national debt is. Think about that for a minute. Yeah, and that's at today's prices, $4,200 an ounce. Now we're getting some snow flurries. It's going full circle. But I got a little bit more siding sawn today. Not a lot, but every little bit helps. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, maybe Friday, depending on the weather. I'll come put some more up and saw some more. I had a guy the other day comment that I'm crazy not to put house wrap on this, because even with board and batten, it's going to let some wind through. And it may let a little bit of wind through. It may. But I think more wind will get in this whole end of the building that's open than will get through the walls. But anyway, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. If you want a great blanket, I could use one right about now. There'll be a link in the description, pin comment as well. I think that's about it. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.